There it is, what we've been following now for the last 35, 40 minutes, a plane with landing gear problems, and the instructor pilot on board has done apparently everything right. A very slow speed landing, no fire, no damage, not even to the propeller. Perfectly done by the pilot there at Peachtree DeKalb Airport in DeKalb County.
We understand 2 people on board, an instructor as well as a student pilot. No doubt that student pilot has learned quite a lesson today. Apparently this plane had problems on takeoff with getting the landing gear to go back up there. You see one person coming off. I'm probably guessing, but I think it's a good guess that that's probably the student. What do you think, Russ?
Very, very fast motion out of there. They look like they're very, very happy, even from this distance. You're watching Fox 5 News at 6 tonight. We're so happy to report that this is a safe ending to a situation that had lasted for the better part of the last hour. A plane with landing gear trouble that had taken a couple of low passes. They tried to extend the landing gear several times and could not do so. So they decided to come in very, very slowly with emergency crews lining the runway. Graham Carroll has been over the scene. Graham, you got the chance to watch the whole thing happen.
That really was just an absolutely perfect approach there and a perfect landing. You could see a little bit of smoke as the metal was dragging across the runway, but it was difficult to see with the tower, unfortunately, right in the shot as they were coming along, but that partially engaged gear was kind of flapping as it touched down, clearly not fully engaged. It was obvious what the issue was, that back gear just was not all the way down, and that was the issue at hand for these folks as they have been circling here now for the better part of a couple of hours, burning off fuel, doing everything they could to try to get that gear to engage. Unable to do so, they did a thorough checklist of everything they needed to do for this landing. They had the emergency crews standing by, and as Russ said, just an absolutely perfect slow approach landing. And the great news to report, both occupants of the plane just got out and gave each other a well-deserved hug and have walked away from this plane safely.
The tape of the plane landing. We watched this just moments ago live on Fox 5, and we're replaying it again. This is that perfect landing. This plane having landing gear problems. After it took off, the gear wouldn't retract fully, and then trying to come in, it wouldn't engage fully. So they flew around for more than an hour, burning off fuel, trying to lighten the load on the plane, and then came in for this landing. An instructor pilot on board as well as a student, and they once touched ground, get out very quickly, and now we're back live on the scene there. Everyone checking out the plane to figure out, of course, the investigation begins into what happened, what went wrong.
And the perspective that you gave us from Sky Fox 5, Graham, gives us a real idea of just how slowly a Cessna can come in under an emergency situation like that.
Absolutely. That certainly was a much slower approach than you would typically see with the gear fully engaged. So they were doing everything just as you would expect in a textbook style. And also should be noted that it was done so well that they did not even have to put foam down. Now, we have seen, there's the fire crew that was standing by if that foam was needed, and we have seen similar precautionary landings in the past where they then had to spray down the foam. And while that certainly is something you will want to do in the event of an emergency, if it can be avoided, that is an advantage in terms of the long-term care of the aircraft, because that foam can actually damage the aircraft. So an excellent textbook approach and landing here, and happy to report that both occupants were able to walk away safely.
So now they tow it away and reopen the airport at Peachtree DeKalb in DeKalb County. Graham Carroll, thanks very much for your excellent coverage. Now to our other big story tonight. Atlanta